everyone. I am Ty. I am the one of the co-founders here at Legalboards, and with me has Bruna here. She is our legal operations specialist here to Legalboards, and so today we're gonna walk you through a little bit more about immigration process using Legalboards. So Bruna had built a very nice workflow alongside a lot of years working with different companies into immigration space, and more focused right now on when something gets out of the timeline, which is not uncommon in immigration process. When this happens, how you can easily make just one update and everything on your workflow will follow through the new updated information. So just a little bit of housekeeping here. I'm gonna be here with my mic and video closed, but if someone has any questions, please drop to me at the Q&A. I will be getting all the questions, and at the end, I will help Bruna delivering the questions, and we can discuss more. And when we finish, we're gonna talk a little bit more about the questions and anything that we might have to discuss here, and that's it. So welcome, Bruna. You can start.
Hi everyone. I'm Bruna. I'm legal operations designer here at Legalboards. And thank you so much for sparing the time to be with me here today. I know that by this point, some of you might be thinking, oh, who is this little brown Latina girl wanting to tell me how should I run my practice? How do I know about immigration? And that's okay, but I promise, relax. I'm not here to talk about your life choices, how you handle your practice. Think of me as a translator. So you tell me how you like to work, what steps matter to you, what is the chaos that you're dealing at this point, and I will try to translate this into a structure, into a workflow, and into what I affectionately call like a company's. How do we translate all of that you're dealing with right now into an agile method, which will bring you visualization, boundaries, psychological safety for your team. And so you just have to trust your interpreter today. So you speak immigration, I will speak workflow. And together we're going to turn USCIS unpredictability into something that your team can actually handle. As the legal designer here in Legalboards, we have been facing an increase in cases of attorneys and their teams trying to figure out how to who deal with this. The UCIS has like a main character energy, and you can try to create the perfect systems, but then biometrics get delayed, interviews get rescheduled, our fees appear like plot twists, and your client is calling you 5 times a day asking, is there any update? Immigration process itself is not legally hard, it's very well structured, but is operationally unstable because, as we mentioned, UCIS is doing things as it pops up in their mind. And the result is that you spend more time firefighting, reacting to what is brought upon you than practicing law itself. So your clients in your team, they do not have the experience of what you have designed, what you have planned, how you envision practicing law, but just what you are dealing with, just you in firefighter mode, trying to handle everything as they show up. So sometimes you get an avalanche, you get one interview rescheduled, and suddenly you have and a paralegal in vacation, for example. And then suddenly, where is the documentation? How do we get in touch with this client? Is there anyone in here that speaks Spanish? No, only the paralegal spoke Spanish and she's in vacation. Oh my God, who's going to call this client? And suddenly everything turns into chaos. You had it all under control and now you don't. And what legal design and what Legalboards and what Kanban wants to bring to you is making things work, like creating a design that is human centered. So we consider what the attorneys and the paralegals actually need to simplify the process of immigration. So I get that immigration has like 70 micro little steps, but how do we break them into clean stages? And we make sure that we have mapped the right milestones in order to make sure that we observe shock. That every time UCIS throws something at us, you can handle it without dismantling everything that you have planned for your day, for your practice, for your life, and being able to track what are your bottlenecks, because you can't manage what you can't see. And that's why the whole agile Kanban methodology will promises to bring improvements into your practice, into your daily activities. Um, you, we understand also that we have to stop blaming people for systemic issues. So, turning your workflow, so your daily activities, taking off being so human centered. So, like you ask your paralegal who called what needs to be done, but instead of that, we create a system so you don't have to blame people for issues. So people are not the bottleneck. The system that identifies the bottleneck and will give you transparency, stability, and accountability without needing to point fingers, because everything is in display, everything is accessible, and if there is any trouble, you can easily identify. I'm gonna share my screen so I can show you how it would look like creating a UCIS structure inside legal boards. Just give me a second. It's correct. So here is a workflow that I have designed for one of our clients. It is an immigration attorney, is one attorney for paralegals. The first thing that we do once we want to turn, want to turn my workflow into a Kanban structure. Where do I start? What do I do? So the first thing is think about the architecture of the thing. So what are the core stages that your matter will go through? So this is a Kanban board in a matter level. So I want to be able to understand what are the phases that my matter usually goes through, and so I have intake, document preparation, waiting for receiving and interview, RFE, decision needed, and decision received, and closure. So that's it, quite simple. And I want to be able to track where my matter is and where I want it to take. So each stage has a clear purpose. You can also see that I have added a few visual cues for me. So for example, I know that for this client in here, called Gabriele Viana, I know that this is a form N600. Here I have an I-40 A5. So just by taking a look, I know what kind of a procedure this matter is handling with. Next step for each one of the stages is that I want to be able to identify what are like the main steps that every single one of these stages will have. So for example, if I open up my intake here, I will open this matter here, which is an intake. I can take a look and I can see that there is a timeline, a checklist here with already a few of the key points that we have mapped. So I know that this matter, so this little cards which is sitting here in intake, it cannot go to document preparation, so it doesn't go to the next stage until each one of the boxes that you see in here have been checked. So this will allow you, so if even if you are working remotely with your paralegal, yeah, she will know that this matter she cannot start gathering document preparation until you two have checked all of the items of this checklist. This is like a very simple structure of things that you can do in order to prevent what we call the bottlenecks. So making sure that the most important situations for every single each one of those stages that we have in here. Let's take a look at document preparation. So in document preparation, I have another checklist that will appear in here. Not for this matter, for this other one. So we know that, okay, update biometric state. So here I have a request remaining documents, review client uploads, confirm financial records, and mark if there is missing or uncertain items. So I know that the My Matter can only go to the next stage once we have covered these four steps. So this makes easy to track activity, what is missing, what needs to be done within each one of the phases that we have in here. So the checklist, it's quite simple. You could create it depending on the amount of matters that you are handling at this point. You can start a manual checklist. So I have a new client. This is the checklist for this client. You save, and okay, no problem. Or you can leave a preset checklist. So for this specific kind of form, this is the checklist for each phase. And every time a matter comes into my USCIS board, this checklist automatically populates. So this is the possibility that Legalboards also provides to you. And this is why I think that the tool is very powerful, considering handling all of this. The other point at which we have mapped that will be a key to handling immigration cases will be the custom fields. The custom fields will work like as satellites because as we have covered, it is unpredictable. Things change, and as they change, how do we adapt? I mentioned that the board was supposed to be a shock absorber, but how is this shock absorbed by Legalboards? And this is going to be up to the custom field. So for example, I have in here three main satellites that I have prepared here to show to you. So I have interviews scheduled, biometrics appointments, and RFE deadline. So let's suppose that you have received our fee deadline of 30 days. So by December 18, I have to present the information that the USCIS have asked me. And what do I do from that? So let me just refresh so you can see the custom field filled out. So what these custom fields will do is tell Legalboards that this everything that is it exists within this matter. So I have here our fee deadline. That everything that we have that is attached to the RFE deadline, it needs to it needs to be adapted. So if so, all the tasks that already have been created, all of that will fall into a track of being updated according to this new RFE deadline. And the same thing can happen if perhaps I have an interview scheduled and I place a new date. Okay, it got pushed to next year. So we can leave preset tasks and reminders to either your client and your team to make sure that you get everything ready for the next date for an interview. We can leave automatic information. So every time you get a new date, we send out an email to your clients, making sure that the clients feel informed. You will feel in control. The whole thing about the automation is not the system working by itself. It's a system working through the standards that you have decided. And so your paralegal can breathe and things stay on track even in the face of unpredictability. Okay, so it's not about tech, it's about being able to track those things in a much simpler way. Okay. Um, one other thing that I wanted to show you. So for example, in here, if biometric notice is received. So these are a few of the tasks that we have automated based on those dates. So do I have to automate everything in this board? This will only work if I do it like this. No, we want to be able to track important deadlines so you don't miss anything, and reminders so you can be sure that you are on top of everything. The whole Kanban thing also allows you. So for example, I have a very few matters in here, but let's suppose that I start identifying that I have a bunch of matters that is piling up in document preparation. So my other phases, I have space, but in here in document preparation, this is my bottleneck. This is where most of my matters stay, and they stay for a long time. And first, this is going to be one of the great sides regarding turning your workflow into this board, because it will allow you to see what we call your WIP limits, your work in progress. This means that in here you have a bottleneck where your matter stops. This is not necessarily it's a problem. Immigration cases creates natural bottlenecks, which is usually document collection or our fee season or the prep overload before the interview. And without being able to track these WIP limits, it will take you more and more to handle all of those cases that are stopped. And suddenly everyone is drowning. You don't know how to handle the new cases and a bunch of interviews that you have for this week. And being able to track the WIP limits, so like your work in progress, and in which phase it is actually is, this will tell you we can start anything new until we finish what is in this phase. So, okay, let's hold the previous phase. So let's hold intake. Let's handle the cases that are in document preparation so we can move things forward, clean this bottleneck, and then we can continue in flow of things that make sense. So it's important to be able to track those things, to understand the phases of your matter. So, because if you do not control your workflow, if you don't establish the limits for it, USCIS will control them for you. And the whole idea of taking your workflow and placing in a way that you can identify, that you can see what is missing, where things are stopping, is to give back the control for you. So I guess that's it. This is like a very quick overview of a board that we have that we created especially for this immigration case. We have identified that there is like more and more attorneys asking, trying to find different solutions for the troubles that they have been facing. And I hope that I could enlighten a little bit. Do we have a few questions, Ty?
Yeah, nice. That was super cool. I like how most of the firms that we talk here, they use a lot different custom fields, and how this is important and need to be planned before. This is important because when you think like sister thinkers, like you have been showing how you think about the process of an immigration case, that you need to plan what is the type of data we need to watch close, and how to use this data. This is important to address, and it's very technical what I am talking right now, that it's data and all these kind of things, but it's important to have a smooth operation and to share communication and to express, like everyone could open the file and see we have information right at your face. This is the data, this is the information that you need to keep eye on. And as more you keep adding in unnecessary information, more complex you make the things happen. So less, it's always the best. We have, so thank you so much, Bruna. That was
You're very
really
welcome.
cool. We have a few questions here. Let me open here at the Q&A. We have one right now. How do you balance structure with oh, that's hard one for me. Unpredictable of
Unpredictable.
the system. That was hard.
I get it. And that's a very good question. And this is what we mentioned. We want to be able to design the board in order to absorb shock. This is a different mindset that we have when we generate an immigration workflow. Usually, so for example, when we are talking bankruptcy or a divorce, those are very strict lines that follow a very with a few changes in procedures. But when we are talking immigration, things are constantly changing. So the idea of, for example, working with the custom fields and that adapt and create reminders based upon those dates shifting. And this is how we handle the paradox between structure and the unpredictability that it is inherent to the immigration process.
Yeah. Yeah, you are right. Because what is unpredictable is the, again, I'm saying this, the data. So the information, the date in this case. This is something that you don't have control, but how you respond to that and what is the process you have to follow through. This you can have a structure. So
Exactly.
that's very good.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have another one here. Let me add here. So, what if my paralegal, that's a funny one, but I heard that with other clients as well, that it's not only the paralegal, but sometimes the attorney or the clerk or someone like that. What I do if someone at my team is stick with the spreadsheet, the colored spreadsheet, or the stick notes in their desk.
Okay, that's a classic. That happens a lot. Engagement. Sometimes it's hard giving up in old habits. I have a little catchphrase that I say, think of legal boards, think of your whole board as a spreadsheet that went to therapy and improved. You know, it is the same. Keep it in mind, it is the same information. It is just displayed differently. And as I have mentioned, the whole taking it off of your spreadsheet that you so carefully created and placing in here, it doesn't take the power. It will just take off all that responsibility of keeping things just in the spreadsheet that you're facing. And every time someone falls off, everybody's pointing fingers and saying, Bruna, where is it? Where was it? And because you are the only one in power of that amount of data, which is crazy, we will take the spreadsheet, we will place it in Legalboards. In this way, as I mentioned, it will stop the pointing fingers. So everyone, if something falls off, there is one person that is responsible for that. So this is going to be great for environment and the information. There is an adaptability, getting off the spreadsheet, going into a board. But as I mentioned, think about a spreadsheet that went to therapy. It's the same. You can add colors. You just gotta deal with this new personality that your spreadsheet gained.
Yeah, and I think has a very strong psychological behavior here that you turn into a gatekeeper. So everything that someone needs to know about the firm as a whole needs to pass through this person, and this person has a much bigger importance because who is able to create a very organized system, they can have all these answers. They are sister thinkers, so they can look to legal boards and adapt in their way, so they can be much less busy and also help with the other parts, because we saw this a lot. We have clients that have a very structured, they have that spreadsheet we put on, and then they discover their billing, it's a mess. And then, oh, now I have a new problem. Yes, you have. So that's the fun part. You have always improving different areas of your operation. Nice. Last question I have here is, can we create different workflows in one board or the same board? How we divide types of workflows or cases?
Yeah, this is a great question. And Legalboards will allow you to create, you will also have, it's very adaptable, but I like to start like gathering everything at first. So take all of your cases, put it in a place in one board and very generic phases so you can see what it looks like. And even though everything is together, we will be able to filter if perhaps, so I have here in 1600 form and here I-48.5. This means that there are different steps for each one of those cases. Those are different naturalization processes. And we could filter by that information. So we create a filter and Legalboards will identify which kind of naturalization process this is, and we will assign different tasks, different attorneys. You will decide the rules based upon that information. So you can have different workflows going on, different timelines inside the same board, and this is great for management. Further in the future, we can always start breaking down, saying, okay, so let's create another board with a different destination. But at first, this is the approach that I prefer. One board, everything is in there, but we filter the information depending on the specifics of each case.
Yeah. That's when, Bruna, most of the demo sessions we have with clients call my attention, because I get super excited about different boards and different capabilities and all the features that we have here. And Bruna says, hey, nope, you need just be simple and keep organized. So I love that.
Yeah.
Amazing. So we are getting over our time here. That was super, super helpful, super insightful. Thank you so much, Bruna. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.